Alright guys, welcome back to the classroom. This is going to take me a little bit of time to get used to just because I'm filming everything on my mobile phone, so hopefully I'll have this down pat by however long we need to study at home for. Thank you so much for being patient with me in the meantime. Today guys, we're going to talk about chemical reactions and what exactly are they. You might have seen in the vocabulary words that we talked a little bit about what a chemical reaction is. It's when you combine two substances. Now, substances is a fancy science word for two different things. It could be, for example, if you have lemon juice or plastic. It could be a combinera of any two things, really. But the biggest thing to know is that with a chemical reaction, when you do combine two things together or more things, like sometimes you need to combine 20 things together in order to create something new. So we're going to be talking a little bit more today about what that means and how it's a bit different than something that we've already learned about in class, changing states of matter, because we don't want to get those two confused. They're both very different things, but it's easy to get them confused sometimes. So what are some examples of chemical reactions? Well, how about let's look at the first thing that is not an example of a chemical reaction, and that's changing states of matter. We've talked about changing states of matter last class in our reading. Changing states of matter involves temperature and only temperature, and it can usually be reversible, meaning that it can be undone. An example of this is if you have water with cold temperature, it creates a solid called ice. However, if you have ice, which is a solid, and you add warm temperature, it's going to turn the water back into a liquid. Now you can repeat this process over and over again. You can make it go from a liquid to a solid and a solid to a liquid. You can even have it turn into a gas if you heat it up hot enough. But this is not a chemical reaction because we're not creating anything new. When water is a liquid, it is still water. When water is an ice, which is a solid, it's still water. And it's important to remember this. I'm going to pause the video now, and then I'll give you guys some examples of what is an actual chemical reaction.